So a lot of times decisions have been overturned where the medal has been taken away or reinstated. Do it or not is a separate issue. The power is available with it. Today you will get something. Unless they want a hearing, you will get some order. So Court of Arbitration for sports is, if you say in the layman term, it is a supreme court of sports in the world. Right. So all disputes in sports rarely attain their finality in appeal to CAS. Even in anti-doping, say if you file a matter in NADA, National Anti-Doping Agency, for international athlete, the appeal lies there, right? And after that, that is the final. Even for eligibility criteria, be it for Commonwealth Games, also they have an ad hoc panel. Even for Olympic Games, they have an ad hoc panel. So they create this ad hoc panel where the panel members are actually physically at the venue, and they are there to address these urgent matters like the Vinesh matter. And in these cases, typically they give the order within 24 to 48 hours. That is the timeline. And CAS really is, these rules are built into the rules and regulations of all the international federations. So even the UWW rules will have it that the appeal from any decisions of the technical committee will then lie to CAS. Even the IOC also recognizes the CAS jurisdiction on, or finality of the CAS jurisdiction on any of the matters. Could be eligibility, could be doping, could be any disqualification for any other reason. So all these matters end up going to CAS finally. So I'll address the first because second is going to be linked to the first. The first issue is that international athlete depends on the rules and regulation normally. CAS is normally the final jurisdiction, not the first jurisdiction, except games like Olympic Games when it is also the first. But suppose you have a world championship and you're caught for a doping offense, right? Then the first instance, say in wrestling, let's just take into account, then the first instance will be UWW. Now, UWW sometimes what they've done is have in their rule designated even the first instance to CAS. So if they've designated the first instance to CAS, then there is an appeal within that process to CAS second division or appeals division. But if it is in this case, as it is the final one only, in the sense it is an appeal from a technical rule, then it is a final court. So there's a division where it can also be a first division if the body or an entity designates it so. But normally it is in appeal and the final. So if in anti-doping, if it's an Indian athlete, if it's the international athlete who has been tested in India, then the first level will be National Anti-Doping Agency, disciplinary panel, and appeal will be to CAS, which will be final. But it depends really on the which is a tournament and what the international rule and regulation to that effect is. So there are two kind of processes, as I said. One is the regular process, which is outside these major events, where you file an appeal. They will give you have to file the appeal within a certain timeline. Once if you file the appeal within a certain timeline, they process it. You have to pay a fee. After that, they process it. They give the other side a right to file its response. They also get a substantial time to file its response. They send that copy to you, and then they have a pre-hearing where they decide who are the witnesses that each party is going to get, how much time they want to take, how they want to lead the evidence and everything. So they have kind of a pre-matter hearing where they just fix up procedural issues, and then they have a final hearing. And normally they have only one final hearing. Sometimes if the evidence and matter is going too long, then they have multiple. Otherwise, they are able to finish within 1 or 2 hearings, the entire matter. So that's the normal process. In ad hoc division, you are able to file your reply today. Normally, they within 24 to 48 hours give a hearing and give an order. At least the operational order. So there are two parts. Operational order, as a lawyer, we have operational order and a detailed order. So they may still be able to give you an operational order. X is our thing. Suppose the athlete has to still participate in an event 2 or 3 days. Then they will give you an operational order. He should be allowed to participate. And then a detailed order will come later on. And why the legal grounds and why they believe after evaluating, balancing the evidence and giving a detailed order. So that is how they do it. So the regular review process, like any other court, both you will file your petition or your claim or your as an appeal. UWW will file a response. They will evaluate the evidence. They will evaluate the circumstances, and they will give you an order. There's a judges, arbitrators, as we call arbitrators, not judges. They're arbitrators. They will evaluate it, and they will give you an order based on that documentation. If they need to hear you, they will give you a written hearing as well. There are multiple precedents for that. Eligibility as well as in doping. There are two critical issues where the ad hoc panel sits. Eligibility criteria and doping criteria, right? So a lot of times decisions have been overturned where the medal has been taken away or reinstated. So that is a possibility exists. No issue. They have the power to do that. Whether they do it or not is a separate issue. The power is available with them. Technically, yes. Technically, you can appeal a decision of CAS in the Swiss courts, but chances of success are negligent because it has to be against public policy. It has to be having a larger issue in mind that fair process was not followed, which is not likely to be the case in our thing. So you assume that it is the final verdict. Today you will get something. Unless they want a hearing, you will get someone. If they want a hearing, then probably they'll schedule something. Otherwise, you should get something today. I would be very surprised if they can intervene to push the case. They are definitely going to support the affiliate. I've been hearing conspiracy theories. There is no conspiracy here. It's straightforward, right? The rules are rules. You have to obey it, right? You can challenge the rules. You can say that there should be a leeway. You can argue on equity. You can argue on procedural issues. That as a lawyer, you are able to argue, and it is for the judges or the arbitrator to decide. But I don't think there's a conspiracy against Vinesh here at all. Everybody is behind her. As we say in the family, we may fight, but to the outside world, we are all together.